The World Penal Court for the ex-Yugoslavia is closing downward at the end of 2017, possessing driven to judiciary several of such who devoted war crimes in the ex-Yugoslavia in the 1990s. With later, war crimes include been devoted in some components of the planet, in Iraq, Syria, and in another place. Is down their testimony how the perpetrators would person attest at an world trial? War criminals include several reasons to be frightened of world judiciary, but not quite reasons to do them really frightened. The force to set a framework of world judiciary that could deny war criminals of any expect of flee is a bright figure, of which can be reached by nationality state operating along. But alike, the failure of several of the largest strong nations to take part, especially China and the joint state, shows how such a force can be extremely undermined. One prominent UK interviewer of the Bosniak War complained how the at first charged, Bosniak Serbian Duško Tadić, was a simple legman of genocidal, a jail guardsman, not a troop captain or a policy lead. I think Feldhau skipped the spot. Real, there was a little test, of a solitary person. Real, the Nuremberg proceedings was now creature run in inverse. But following the belief of Tadić, the court constantly enlarged its achieve, up to the really highest levels of guilt consisting to ex-Yugoslavian CEO Slobodan Milosevic oneself. The trial shown how, at low in the cases it heard, impunity had been surmounted. So, now how the doors of the Yugoslavian court include eventually close, more than rather than 20 years following how at first proceedings, which are the prospects for next its sample by showing a steady and far broad obligation to world penal judiciary. The contract to set the trial was adopted by 120 state behind in July 1998. It later took 4 persons year to reach ratifying by part how quantity of countries in 2002 and therefore legitimize the trial. With later, the accomplishment has been really bounded. The trial says its judges include given 31 detention warrants. So distant, 25 cases include been up the trial, and the judges include given verdicts in 6 of such cases, resultant in 9 human beings creature condemned and 1 justified. One of the largest overall accusations leveled versus the ICC is how it might be superior renamed the African Penal Trial, a gun utilized substantially by ex-colonialist powers of Europe to penalize a solitary mainland and disregard some discord. No of the is to propose how down their refuge been disgusting genocides and horrible crimes versus humanists in Africa, but the mainland does include a sensible recording of busy involvement in, and supporting to, the ICC. Of 123 countries who are parties to the World Penal Trial, 33 are African state. But in another place in the planet down there are flagrant omissions of the listing devoted to the ICC, consisting 3 of the 5 constant members of the UN Safety Justice, China, Russia, and the joint state. Oh, and Iraq isn't a party, each. While you recall how the trial can explore estimated crimes devoted with the medium of 2002, the war in Iraq stands out for its astounding lack of the ICC instance listing. The unique US-led intrusion of Iraq was started up on March 20, 2003 following all the war drawn on for 8 years, and the abuse yet hasn't ceased. But the joint state has never backed the trial. Start in draft Clinton, each CEO has rejected to face the concept how a US individual, yet less than an US man, could always be put up the trial. One of lot arguments the US makes for its boycott is how Americans would be aim mischievously for policy need. Else is how no trial external the US court framework can hold a high location rather than its own tribunals. All the helps light a bit of a searchlight on one prior inquiry that is creature prosecuted by the ICC in concoction versus soldiers in Iraq of the joint realm, America's primarily friend. In December 2017, the head attorney at the World Penal Trial told down there was a sensible base to trust UK military had devoted war crimes versus Iraq detainees. Believe as well the reality how Britain's Ministry of Defence has been found by the top trial in London to be in violation of the Geneva Conventions, and orderly to pay damages of tens of thousands of pounds to 4 persons Iraq countrymen for their bad treatment and illegal arrest by UK gunman forces for the Iraq warfare. How must do the opportunity of the ICC vigorously chasing UK soldiers at several spot in the next more than potential time all how might appear to be fair, it does lift some questions. How can the ICC include world trust while main powers consisting the joint state just reject to include whatever to do in it? Will the final testing of the ICC be its capacity to explore and later pursue effectively several of the hundreds, perhaps thousands, of human beings who must include been implicated in the systemic crimes versus humanist devoted for the war yet departure on in Syria? The collection of testimony is told to be event on a extensive scope. Lot of it is really intentionally creature stored open secret, partially to hinder efforts to compromise it, or to murder witnesses or defend those guilty, consisting such at the really highest levels in Syria. Is it potential such largest guilty will ultimately be driven to The Hague? It doesn't see how potential. Russia, else conscientious objector that wants anything to do in the ICC, would include to agreement to a world in Syria out of extract several warranty of pardon cover its main friend, CEO Bashar al-Assad oneself. It is surely probable to trust how the ICC is superior rather than anything, how fair since the trials achieve an efficiency is strongly bounded, how doesn't annul its artistic achievements so distant. But it is difficult to do the instance how the chase of the largest horrible crimes is creature carried out as a versatile and fair searching for judiciary, true and conciliation.